Aquarius got the Eight of Swords as their advice as well. I think they got the Queen of Cups there. I don't really remember, but I have a feeling. But let's have a look. So you got a couple of court cards here. A couple of major arcana as well. Eight of Cups. This is where we're done. We are emotionally done with the situation. I do not want to feel that way anymore. That's what the Eight of Cups says. I do not want to feel that way anymore. I know I invested a lot emotionally into this. And we see this guy. He's like, peace out, people. Like, you know, he's left all the cups behind and he's walking off. It doesn't literally mean that we walk out of a situation. That may be the result. That may be what we end up doing with this energy. But at its core, what it talks about is being emotionally done. It's about not settling. I won't settle for that. You know, I invested a lot emotionally into this situation, but it doesn't serve me anymore. I don't want to settle for being this way anymore. Now, the thing that comes up very strongly, a strong emotional energy is coming up. So some of you may have been feeling this for a while. But with the Eight of Cups coming up here and the Moon, because if he's leaving that behind, like he knows what he doesn't want. And the kind of key to this is the card that comes after is the Nine of Cups. So he's going to look for his ninth cup, his true heart's desire. Some of you don't know what your heart's desire is. Others of you don't know the path to get to your heart's desire, right? Because we have the Queen of Cups here, who's very much comes from a heart space. And with the Moon here, it's where we look at the path ahead of us, but it's in shadow. And that can be when fears and doubts come up. And there's a strong message here of fears and doubts. You may have heard me say this before, where I do personally believe that instead of 12 signs of the zodiac, there are 6 energy axis, like powers, right? So Leo and Aquarius are 1. That is the energy that comes up. And so it makes me think of that. It makes me think of that who we are. That's our first house. I'm an Aquarius, right? So my first house would be Aquarius. It isn't. That's your rising, but I'm talking about from my sun sign. So first house is Aquarius. My 7th house is Leo. So who I am is Aquarius. How I relate to other people, Leo. Same with you now. Who you are, Leo. How you relate to other people, 7th house, Aquarius. So there is that kind of axis coming in. And what that makes me think of is the 1st and the 7th house. Who we are and how we are in relation to other people. The I am versus the we. And there must be an I before there can be a we. So there's that kind of, that's what's coming up for me very strongly in this message. And who you are is someone that won't settle for stuff that doesn't make you happy, that doesn't fulfill you. But I think you haven't figured out yet how to connect with someone else, or what that connection is, where it's going, right? There are fears and doubts around that. Now, in the past, you have the Knight of Swords, and that's interesting that comes up in the past. This may be very specifically, and that's very specific, but it's coming up. This may be conversations that you've had with someone. You know, out of nowhere, you have this conversation, because that's what the Knight of Swords can represent. Someone who comes in out of nowhere and they speak their truth, and it shakes everything up. Now, I don't usually read court cards as other people. It can be. Obviously, it's a general reading. And yes, the energies can be all us, or they can be how we relate to other people. Because even when we relate to other people, we take on some of that energy, right? Because we're at that vibration with each other. So the Knight of Swords is someone who takes action based on his beliefs. Swords are our thoughts, our beliefs, our ideas, and how we communicate them. So there may have been some communication here, or an idea, or a belief that you now have. And so you're very committed now. You know that you can't stay where you were or keep doing what you were doing, settling. It's not fulfilling anymore. It's not emotionally fulfilling. The Eight of Cups, it's not painful. That's the thing with it. It's not a painful energy because you have nothing emotionally left to give to that situation. You have nothing left to give to it. And your reading is very much focused on, well, okay, I know what I'm done with. Where am I going with this, though? Where am I going with this? I have a belief. I have an idea. But where do I take it? That's what this feels like. Now, the card, and the past is last week, last month, last year. It doesn't matter. It comes up to indicate why we are where we are. And the heart of the reading is the focus. It's either what we're dealing with, what we're focused on, what's going on right now. I'm very big on the present being the point of power. That's why we have 3 cards that indicate the present. This one, what we, you know, how we go forward, what we're dealing with. The present and the advice, what we do now. And these are both kind of past energies. And then we have one for the future, because the future can be changed. It's what we're headed towards. And the present is the main energy for this month, or for the period that I read for. Now, the Queen of Cups coming up here, she's a lot about unconditional love. Unconditional love. What she loves, she understands. She doesn't really need anyone, but she's happy to share her love with people and to love people. That doesn't mean you're a doormat and you just keep giving and don't get anything back. That's not what unconditional love is. You've probably heard me say this often. We can only give that which we have. So she loves herself. She knows what her love is worth. That's why she's happy to give it. But you can only keep that which you give. So once you give that, once you express that love, once you come from a heart place, that is what you will attract back to you. She is nurturing, she is loving, she is caring, and she knows how to love. And that's big here, especially if you're going for that 9th cup, right? If you're going for the heart's desire. So that's your focus here. What is it that you desire, Leo? What is your heart's desire? Think you've had an idea or kind of plan around this with that Knight of Swords coming up. And a lot of the readings I've been getting this is very kind of head or heart kind of balance, very chariot-like energy coming up. Even though the chariot's not here, it's that kind of energy. All right, got my head on board. Is my heart on board with this as well? Does my heart want this too? Because it kind of feels like in whatever existing situation is, that plan can't play out the way you want it to. For whatever reason. There's confusion here. There's something that maybe you have an intuition about something, because the moon can very much say that. But it says you can't trust what you see. Whatever you see around you, you're not feeling it. So I seem to have said this for a few signs, but it's that energy of knowing what you want to get out of, yes, 8 of Cups. But what do you want to get into? What is the dream? What are we headed towards? And they represent that head and heart energy of together. It's beautiful energy. And it is a lot around what you nurture, what you care for, what you love, how you feel. Because you got the Empress. The Empress is about growth and abundance. And a lot of you may have been trying to figure it out logically. Well, how do I do this? How do I make this work? What do I say? And all of that. And it's like, take a moment. Let's pause. This is very 5th house energy, actually. I always see the Empress as 5th house, which is your house, Leo. It's the house that Leo rules, right? I kind of get that sense that it's about, well, what do I want to give birth to? What do I want to create? If I'm not happy with how things were in the past, or where I've been investing, my emotions. I was trying to mix together investing and emotions. But, what is it that I want to give birth to then? What am I nurturing and caring? What am I pouring all of this love into? That is the highest vibration of Leo. The highest vibration of Leo. The lowest vibration of Leo is to be in the spotlight, right? But the highest vibration of Leo is to understand that you guys are the sun. You guys are the spotlight. And it's who you put that warmth and that lovely, beautiful, life-giving energy on. Who do you shine that light on? And it's very much, if that's the heart of this. The Empress understands that to get the best out of anything, it takes time. That's why she's represented as the mother. And you see her here holding her baby. It took time for her to conceive. It took time for her to carry that baby. When she gave birth to the baby, then it's about taking care of the baby, right? So it requires a lot of effort, nurturing, love, all of that. But where have you been giving that energy? Because that's coming up here. You're kind of done with something. Right. But that all makes sense. So we've got the 3 of Empress is number 3. We've got the 3 of Coins, 3 of Pentacles coming up here. And that to me talks about, well, where are we going? What are we building? What are we planning for the future? Who do we have? Who's the right people for the job? It's being resourceful, getting the right people for the job as well when that comes up. And you have the 3 of Coins, 3 of Pentacles. And I've told this story before, and you've heard me probably say this a million times whenever this card comes up. But it's around the focus and it's around your purpose. Does it appeal to you from a heart level? Or are you just going through the motions because you think it's the right thing to do? Or is it because you truly feel it? And the story that comes up around this card, I always say, is the story of the 2 stone cutters. And there's a guy walking down the street and he sees 2 stone cutters. They're doing the identical jobs. They're both doing the same thing. He goes up to the first one and he says, oh, what are you doing? And he says, oh, I'm cutting stones. He goes up to the second guy and he goes, what are you doing? And he says, I'm building a cathedral. What's the significance of that? The first one's just doing a job. He's just cutting the stone. He's going to get paid at the end of the day, job done. The second guy feels like he's part of something bigger. His work has purpose. He is building a cathedral. You know, he's not just cutting a stone. He is cutting stones, but it's part of a bigger plan. So whatever it is that you're doing now, nurturing, growing, loving, whatever it is, you know, that is about growth and abundance when the Emperor shows up. Is it part of your bigger plan? Is it part of your big picture? And it's almost like in the broad strokes is where you get the answers now. Because you're very clear on what you're dissatisfied with, what doesn't work for you, right? What you're ready to just say, yeah, I'm out of this. I'm done. I want to say this too, because it's for a month. And obviously timings are weird anyway. But some of you might feel like you're just here. It's like, yeah, I don't know, Jay. I don't know what I'm building for the future. I don't know what I'm planning. I don't know what I want to grow. I don't know yet. I have an idea, but I just, it's not kind of hitting me in the, like, you know, getting me in the field. I don't have that. That's what happens here. I'd be very surprised, those of you that this message resonates for, if you don't know by the end of like Libra season or whatever, that you don't have an idea, that you don't know exactly what to do with it. You will know. That's the Three of Coins, which is, yeah, look. This is very much about moving forward. So the ideas there, I'll say this around the Knight of Swords. He will speak his truth, and he's very blunt, tactless almost, like, you know, it's very direct, clear communication. He's known sometimes to come charging in, offload his truth, like does a drive-by with the truth and then rides off again, right? So it can be that way. But this is very methodically building something. If you've been trying to get a relationship off the ground, if you've been trying to get, I don't know, your business off the ground or your work off the ground, whatever it is, something that you've been trying to build, that home that you want, whatever it is, this is where you get some real traction. There's been talk here, but now the heart's on board. And what that means is that if your heart's on board, it's not going to be involved in stuff that doesn't serve it, that's not self-honoring, that looks like settling. It doesn't matter. Like with that moon there, it's almost like, well, I can't stay here. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm not going to stay here. Anywhere's going to be better than here. And when you get Knights, they are about movement. So logically, mentally, that's how we do the air energy, right? You've figured it out. You know that you need to move forward because your belief system has changed. But this is where you actually put in the effort, because with Coins or Pentacles, it's our physical reality. It's our physical reality. It's the work that we put in. Now, the thing with all of the Knights is they progress a situation, as I said. The Kings and Queens, they sit on their thrones. The pages, they run around, little ones that run around, right? It's the Knights that get the real movement going. And the Knight of Coins, yes, he may be the slowest moving Knight, but he is still faster than the rest of the court cards. Just the other Knights are faster than him. And this is where you start putting in the action. So with Coins or Pentacles, it's going to be around our physical bodies, right? Our jobs, our work, our businesses, our homes, our possessions, our relationships even. But our investments, our savings. It's time to move on that, to act on that, to grow that. And the beauty of the Knight of Pentacles is that he will show up and he's going to get the job done. See, if you've been putting off a plan or a project, trying to figure out, is it time to do it? It feels like the time is now. I know that's Wheel of Fortune, but it's kind of, that's the energy that I'm feeling here, which is it's time to start putting those plans into action. Maybe start working with some other people, whatever it is that you need to do here. The downside of the Knight of Coins, the Knight of Pentacles, is that he can go unnecessarily slowly because he wants a perfect plan. He wants a guarantee. And that's the place where these fears and doubts would come in, because you're not going to see that. The moon very much says that, is that you won't see what's coming up ahead. It's more about, I think you're kind of going into uncharted territory, like you've never been here before. And it's in these spaces that we get the new experiences and we get the real growth. Because any map that you have is of where you've been, right? And this is, you're going into new spaces now. You're not going to know what's there. And so the Knight of Pentacles, in his highest vibration, he's going to make sure that, well, I don't know what steps 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever are, but I can take step 1 perfectly and I can take step 2. I'll figure out step 3 when I get there, but I'm going to see this through to the end. I'll find a way to do this, to complete this, to make it happen. It's the work. It's putting in the real work and effort into this. You're building something big here. And I get it. You know, when you've got Knights coming up as well, they're not Kings and Queens. So it may be that you feel like you're trying to learn something. Your heart is the highest vibration here because it's the Queen. she's more experienced and she has more authority than the knights, right? That's why she's coming up with the heart of everything. Trust your heart. Trust what you're trying to nurture. Trust what you feel around this. But then take the steps. Start building it. And if you're looking for guarantees or a perfect plan, trust that you are the guarantee. Trust that you are the guarantee. You're making this. You're nurturing this. You're growing it into what it will be. And you have the Emperor coming up in the future. And the Emperor is about standing in your own personal power. Your own personal power. The Emperor it's going to be one of two bits of advice when he shows up. One, don't be so controlling, right? Because the Emperor, my way or the highway, right? He's in control. He decides. He's the one that has the final call. It's his responsibility. It's his empire. And your life is your empire. But when we get so stuck and wanting to control every facet of how it shows up, we can block out new ways of doing things. So there's that for starters. But the other end of the other thing that comes up around the Emperor is it's about stepping up and taking control. We've got yin energy here. We've got yang energy here. So that's the holding space for this, holding space for the idea, holding space for the feeling, nurturing it, growing it. But then what do we do with that? We take action on it. And that's where the yang energy comes in. And so let's not ignore that. We have the Empress and the Emperor in this reading, the divine masculine and the divine feminine. Now, if this is a relationship, that's wonderful. That's two people who they are perfect partners for each other. It doesn't matter if you're same sex, whatever. It's about the energy, and we all carry that energy within us. There is a partnership here. Especially if you're at a place where you kind of feel like, should I, if that question is, should I wait for this person? Should I stick around here? What do I do? This says you keep building and moving forward with your future. You keep taking those steps and keep doing it. Your person will match you. If they're your person, they will catch up to you. They will match you. That's why these two come up, that partnership. Now, if there isn't, even if that person's not your person, that it does show that somebody will come up. You have a partnership coming up there with them two. I often see them as, I don't know if you've seen the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and it's the night before her wedding or something, and her mum says to her that the man might be the head of the family, but the woman is the next. She decides which way he turns, right? And that's kind of how I feel these two work together. And the way that I've always seen them, so the Emperor is the boss, the father figure, right? And it's almost like, you have that boss who's a right arsehole, like he's a tough nut. He's always on it, and you always think, who would put up with him? And then you meet his wife at the Christmas party or something, and she's like the sweetest, most loveliest person. But they work well together. They can, I don't want to say complete each other, but they are two halves of a whole almost. Yeah, so it is that completion. They are perfect for each other. Because she's that kind of softer, it's the yin and the yang. Now forget anyone else. This is within us as well. We can't always just be soft. We can't always just be holding space for stuff. It's about taking action and doing something with that as well. She's not going to hold her baby within her forever. She must give birth to it. The outward energy, the yang energy. And that's where the Emperor comes in and takes control. This is stepping into your own personal power. If it's yours, if this is something that you've given birth to, then it's yours, right? Then it's your call on what you do with it, how it grows.